Hey y'all, it is the 6th of December, I think everywhere, I don't know. Pretty sure. Cool. So let's go ahead and get started. Still working on the super apps, which is combining many of our apps into fewer apps, pairing with Dylan on that. Got the basic plugin system figured out for one of them. So we're going to kind of use that philosophy for the other ones. And then the idea is if we wanted to add a new component to the super app, such as, I don't know, a part of the Zendesk app now tells us they're recently solved tickets or something like that, we would instead just make a plugin on the super app instead of making a whole new app and having 20,000 apps. So I'll be working with Dylan on that stuff. I'll link projects as they come about. Like I finished the super app and the basic plugin philosophy logic like last week on Friday, so it's still very new. But yeah, so more details will come on that as they become available. Working to figure out a place to put notification data, stuff like this ticket's about to breach or this ticket was unassigned or whatever, however much of a scope of notification we want. So we're working on figuring out a place to put it and a way for it to be accessed so that people can utilize that data in whatever means they want. Build a bot, look at it once and go, pretty cool, close, pretend it never existed in the first place, etc. So we'll figure that out, kind of giving us the month of December to work with the support team to figure all that out. That's not to say anything's changing right at the end of December. That's just, I've given us December to figure out all the little details before we start figuring out implementation and all that. The Zendesk Global Renewal is proceeding as planned. We might be jumping up a level from professional to enterprise. I clearly can't talk. I'm saying weird words.
No, I think you just proposed a perfect rename. I want professional version.
I mean, that's what I would call it. So we might be jumping up a level just because pricing and discounting. We also might be going to a 3-year renewal. We're not entirely sure if that's what we're doing or not. We're still negotiating. So I'll give y'all more updates as that becomes available. If we did go to a 3-year, what it would mean is we don't have to do yearly renewals, but what we will do is do add-ons as needed for, the plan. So adding more users. Instead of doing it once a year, we could do it in smaller batches, which ultimately will save the company money. Another thing, I've just kind of noticed this. So I wanted to I kind of talked with another manager and we kind of figured out a tactic we want to use. We often see questions concerning if the round robin for global is working properly. I've seen them a lot in Slack, and the root of that, I think, is because they look at the queue sizes in Zendesk, and of course they look different because they're not showing pending, they're not showing solve, they're not showing close. Like they don't show a full picture. They show new open on hold, so they show current workload versus workload has already been done. I want to shift focus to instead trying to figure out how we can help address what might be the root of the question, like where that question is coming from. So to do this, what I want us to start doing is do a quick check on the project, make sure it is working. Obviously, we want to be sure it's working. If you view Git history on that counter file, you should be seeing iterations on it. You should be seeing it incrementing. If that's doing it, cool, it's working. Should have probably been updated in the last 20 minutes based on current ticket volume. Maybe on slower days, you need to look a little further back, but you should be seeing changes to that file. After you confirm it's working, go ahead and confirm that it is working to the agent, and then ask them if there's something worrying them about the current workload distribution. I gave a general example, but I encourage y'all to use, whatever wording you think appropriate. Something like, hey, Bob, I did a quick check and can confirm the round robin is working properly. Is there something worrying you about the current workload distribution? Very clunky, so figure, word it however you see fit. But if something is worrying them about it, like the question is stemming from, I feel my team is overstressed, or I'm concerned that, this other team is getting way more work and they can't handle it or whatever, it's a good time to get like a support manager kind of involved in the thread so we can kind of address that root issue. We want everybody to be happy and stress-free as much as possible. So if there is a place of stress or unhappiness that question is coming from, we obviously want to address that. And I feel just by answering, yeah, it's working, we're missing that opportunity. So I kind of want us to take the extra step there and do that. Lyle, I see you typing. Do you want to vocalize?
Yeah, I was just wondering, is there an opportunity where we can get in front of this, where like I could put something in the support we can review, where it's like, this week we distributed this many tickets to each queue, and then do that every week, and then when the question comes, to be like, yes, and we report on it every week.
Yeah, so I think we could, if we so desired. It's not hard to look at the Git history of a file. Now, admittedly, being that runs every like 5 to 10 minutes, it's a lot of Git history to look through for the course of a week. It's not to say we couldn't, but we could. I think once we set that number the first time, like on Friday, okay, it's 500. From that point forward, it'll be a little easier because we can look at the current volume and say it increased this many. So I think, that first week will be the hardest, but after that, we'll be fine. I do still think we should do that we can point to, hey, yeah, no, we report on this every week and all that. You can tell it's working. But I do still think we should confirm it is currently working and then kind of use that opportunity to seek out if there is something bothering or worrying the agent.
Yeah, definitely. I'm just wondering if we can allay the fears before they even start, rather than it's one thing to be like, no, it's definitely working. But it's another to be like, it's always working. If you're not, this isn't the right line of question.
Yeah, exactly. And I think we can kind of do both. Should be fine to do that. I have pointed at least one or two of the agents of, hey, look, the counter's actually here. You can go look at it at any time and see that it is working. So like there is the self-service method they can do, but I feel like I want to use that opportunity of we can answer it, but I feel like we should also continue the discussion to figure out what's going on. So kind of be proactive, like Lyle suggested. We can do that, and I think it's great. And then I think also take each opportunity to start a discussion, even if it's I was just curious. Okay, cool. But any questions or concerns on that in general?
Jason, I was thinking about if we can have not an app, but a ticker of the tickets incoming and tickets ongoing on the top of it. So like being tackled, and this will help understand that, yep, there is actually a workload and being continuously working on. Like Bilal said, that we have a proactive thing going on. They don't have to worry about, they could see that there are a lot of tickets coming in, like in the last hour, how many tickets came in, and how many of them are now in the queue and being assigned.
I think we could probably build something that can do all that.
Yeah,
but I think we
working on something. I'm secretly working on something at the same instance.
Cool. So let's make an issue to track that, and then we can kind of play around with it and figure out how we can kind of do that. It might make it even easier for like the support we can review to be able to be like, here's a page you can look at.
True.
Just have it reminded a few times or whatever until we get to the point where like we feel like everybody's aware.
Right.
Yeah. So let's maybe we'll go ahead and make an issue, and we can kind of start working on that and figuring out how we want to address that, even if it's as simple as catting the file and running the JQ parser on it so it looks pretty. But I think we can look at a way to kind of help that out a bit. Cool. Anybody else? Anything you want to talk about, discuss, comments, questions? Awesome. Well, I will let y'all have back 20-ish minutes of your day then. Good seeing all of y'all, and I will see you in the queues.
See you guys.
Bye.